Today's an experiment. We are going to be doing some live hand cam drawing. You guys are going to get to see me draw with graphite live on stream here. I've got some tools, I've got some pencils and some erasers. Get a little cardboard box for my shavings to go in. Needed erasers, the whole thing. It's all set up. Kind of, I'm in the dark bunker. And I get some light. I have a nice like desk light that helps out a lot with this. But we're gonna have to like push things around a little bit because I didn't prep anything in advance. I was working on Lightbox prep the whole time while I was getting ready for the stream today. Good morning, Del Monsta. And I don't have everything set up in a way where it's like guaranteed to be at a really great angle. And yeah, and I don't have like a guaranteed really great lighting. I'm sitting here pausing, thinking about what other resources I have laying around the house that could maybe make this work out really, really good. There's a magnifying glass that's on my light. I've got a little ring. I wish I had a ring light around here, one of these a while back. And I've got some stands and stuff that my wife's got. I was thinking I would just do it on her desk. But I kind of have to displace a bunch of her stuff, and I don't really want to impose too much for what is ultimately a little bit of an experiment. But I think we're going to be fine. So I'm going to be working on Drawtober today. The prompt is Overgrown Graveyard. And let's see. Oh, I should probably stream inside here too. I'm going to virtual cam there, video. Yeah, okay, that works out just fine. The webcam's upside down, but I can flip the video on here. And then I also think it's flipped, but that means it's also flipped horizontally. Yes, maybe. So, wait, do those numbers read backwards on the keyboard? So you guys are going to get to see that. This might be interesting because I can actually see what my piece looks like in reverse, which would be potentially really useful for me while I'm drawing. I was thinking I would just get started on this off stream, so I'd be already prepped and kind of rolling at the time when I got on stream here, and that would have been really, really smart. That would have been really smart. But I am that smart, but I'm not that hardworking. I was splitting my time between a few other projects this morning, and I left it all. And I thought, oh, I've got an hour left. I'll just like, and then I got my email, and I got this and that. And now I'm starting at 0 here at the stream while people are filing in. So on paper today, I had an odd keyboard for a second. It is kind of an odd keyboard. It's a very cool keyboard. It's a very clicky mechanical keyboard that's really good, high quality. But yeah, it's all kind of in the way. I'm trying to think of what would help me arrange this in a way where I wish I had like a kickstand to like get it up here, and then I wish I had the camera kind of over my shoulder. Come in here. Is this one I made myself, the mechanical keyboard? No, this is stock. I rearranged some of the keys. It came with a few different alternate keys to like mess with the color layout. It looks a little bit like a Gundam, just with the proportions of all the different colors and the shades of the colors and stuff. But no, it's not fully customized. I got it kind of out of stock, out of the box. It's heavy as hell. It's got pre-lubricated switches, really sturdy case, a little bit of padding on the inside. It's stocky. It is a stocky keyboard. I love it. People who are hanging around in the Discord have probably heard me. Before I go and hit my mute button, you can usually catch me a little bit, like thocking away in the background. Oh, I'm glad to hear that you've been getting a lot out of the studies. Yeah, we're going to do something really different today. There's like a blending stick in here also. You guys get to admire my very frail wrists, my delicate, frail wrists that I'm not even a slightest bit insecure about. Hey, Kim. Ah, you didn't. How's everyone doing? I'm getting nervous. Because I'm about to try to do something I haven't done before on stream. I'm also looking around furiously, trying to figure out where my mechanical pencils are. I normally have a mechanical pencil handy for this kind of work. Because I've got my pencil set. I've got my P. Lazane. What is this? What does this say? I've got my fancy pencil set. Anya was fretting over which of the two fancy pencil sets to give me to figure out which one was going to be the nicer ones. But I think I would feel more comfortable getting started with my familiar tool, which is the mechanical pencil. And I always think that I have got one handy sitting around here. And I've touched at least 5 of them in the last day as I've been like going through piles of art materials as I've been cleaning up some old stuff. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go find one of these dang things. Oh, wait, it's on the ground. I pushed it on the ground. It's just everything's getting knocked around. Any news on the playmat restocks? I ended up emailing the manager over at the playmat place as well as the owner today, asking to see if they could give me a response to see. Like, they went so long without being able to have blanks. I want to check to see if they're still in business. Oh, hand reveal, yeah. I mean, hand reveal. I wanted to see if the playmat place was still in business or if they're like really not going to be able to take my orders anymore. I've been waiting for this thing for a long time. So let's see. How do I get this in a way where it's definitely going to be... Going to get to see kind of a reverse long shot of it here. I need to have it close enough to me where it's comfortable for me to see it. But I also want to get a decent enough shot lighting-wise as well. I wish I had like a board propped up here so I could convert this into a drawing space. All right. Oh, it's all out of focus. That's fantastic. Thank you. Wait, thank you, Logitech. There we go. This is what really brings the subscribers in. People love seeing this. Yes, hand cam. You can see my chewed on fingernails. My stubby fingers. You'd think like you see all these characters, these long expressive fingers in my drawings. It's not me. It's definitely not taken as reference from me. Can you do the flip horizontal OBS source? Yeah, I'll give that a shot. I already am flipping vertical because the cam is upside down. Configure video. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, there it is. Apply rotation data from camera, if any. There's a flip vertical, but there's not a flip horizontal that I see. Use hardware decoding. See? I got no idea. Oh, under transform. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. Transform. There it is. Okay, so now we have, this is actually a clear version, so now you can see that I am in fact right-handed. And I'm worried it's going to be kind of coming in and out of focus the whole time, so I wonder if I should pull up the Logitech controller and see if I can do a manual focus pull on it. That way we're not going to be fighting this the whole time. Oh boy, wait. Oh, there we go. The UI on this thing is teeny tiny. Teensy tiny little UI. Advanced, okay. Camera control, undo autofocus. There we go. Basically pulling it all the way off to the one side. Oh, once you start trying low light compensation, let's try that. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. There's a pan and tilt. What does this do? Weird. Yeah, that'll help. It's a little dark in here. I'm gonna try to got this gooseneck light in here. I'm gonna see if I can sneak this over here and then lower the exposure. I'm doing everything I can for you guys. All right. I'm gonna do this the best I can muster. Okay. Needs contrast on the page. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay. So the prompt today for Drawtober is overgrown graveyard. Yeah, this is actually all the light in this room is being projected by my face. I just, instead of a face, I just have a glowing plane. It's just sort of like I emit light out of my eyes. Oh, hey, thanks for the resubscribe. LGN, appreciate it. I can do this. I can tell you thank you. Thank you. LGN with the clutch subscription. All right. So yeah, overgrown graveyard. I was thinking of like humanizing it some because like it kind of suggests that I'd be doing some sort of scene. You know, there'd be like a graveyard and there'd be a bunch of stuff overgrown on top of it. You know, standard. I mean, that's. Hey, another subscription. Are we gonna be? Is this gonna be the thing today? Anya's sneaky in here around the corner. You want to come join me?
I was thinking about it. I wasn't sure if you want people joining you or not right now.
I like you joining me.
Oh, okay.
Sneaking in behind me. Thanks, Jubby Door. Appreciate that you guys are making a sub train today. There was that one day where we had like a whole train of subs come in. It was really sweet. I love getting them. And the Prime subs are extra good because they're free for you too.
Would you prefer if I was in your office or in my office?
No, just come hang out in here.
Okay. Well, I'll need to bring my stuff.
Bring your stuff. All right. Wife's going to join us today. So instead of doing like just like an environment shot with like some mausoleums and what and some graves, I was thinking about maybe doing like a guy that was like a graveyard come to life, where it was like his body was sort of made of tombstones and what do you call those things? Caskets, and have like caskets with like dead bodies coming out of them, and gravestones, and like sort of cobbled together in a kind of like elemental homunculus sort of way. Don't say hi to her now. She can't see. She's out getting her supplies in a chair. She's going to be in just a second. I'll tell you when it's okay to say hi to Anya. All right. Wait for my cue, and then unload the hellos. All right. So I'm thinking probably best to do it like a sort of. The default is like a dramatic upward angle. Homunculus is the best word. I can say it's a good word. I'm on board to saying it's a good word. I don't want to overstate it. We're going to save best for the really, really good ones. Wow, really phoning this one in, Pete. What are you talking about? But yeah, I mean, if this is a thing, if this turns out to be a thing, maybe it'll be more of a thing in the future, right? So I was thinking the center of the chest would be like a big casket, one of those ones that's got that iconic casket shape, that kind of hexagon, that kind of like elongated hexagon style. And then I'm thinking we get like a nice, I always like that perspective when it's got that wide angle lens and you kind of like low horizon line. Just the little guy.
It might actually be good to zoom in a little bit and turn off that light setting that
Oh, the exposure?
you turned on.
Yeah, let me pop that back open again. Or there's actually some camera control here. Configure video. Yeah, I can get to it through OBS. Oh, there's brightness and contrast controls on here. Camera control, exposure down a peg. Oh, and then we can give it a little bit of zoom. It's going to become more clear. I have really light construction lines coming down here at the beginning, and then we'll see. A little bit tilt. There we go. Hey, addict. Yeah. It's really bright on my in front of me here. It's just emanating light off the page, just blasting my eyeballs. The key is going to be to try to make sure that he's got cool shapes. So I'm more worried about like constructing a cool silhouette and then figuring out how to sort of justify it later. I think this this initial casket might be a bit big for where I'm going with the size of the torso though. So I might immediately shrink this. And then I'm gonna have to keep looking. Everyone's on the goose illustration game this month. They certainly are.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, Sean might have a better display
For
for Lightbox than the one that I set up by the pool. So I might have sold it to him, and then I might be stealing it back before he ever gets a chance to use it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So you're gonna be doing the same prompt as me?
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what I want to do because I don't really want to do it in watercolor.
Uh-huh.
I kind of want to plan it out, so maybe I'll just do a drawing first and then see. Oh, that's where these pieces went.
Oh, you found some of your older studies?
Oh, I was going to
Can
send
I-
this to Julie, and then I.
Let's see. We got one of Anya's dailies in here done in watercolor, and then these were these dailies too. These are
Yeah,
some
they were from the same.
studies from the beach.
But I was going to send that portrait to Julie because she liked it, and then I couldn't find it.
One of these days, I'm gonna do a Anya art box stream where all we do is go through a huge fucking box of paintings that you just have in a closet. The number of really incredible watercolor paintings we just have sitting in a closet because Anya just like, she produces a tremendous amount of art and also is like not particularly good at making it for sale, and so it just kind of piles up around the house. And then whenever we have anybody over who like is like an art friend, I was like, you want to see some shit? And we pull out this box and it's just overflowing with incredible paintings. They spend like an hour
This
slowly delicately sifting through it.
I also have those sketchbooks.
Plus there's sketchbooks, yeah.
that I need to cut up.
Yeah. That we're gonna chop up and turn them into to hamster cage shavings, right?
Somebody actually.
There's a hamster out there who does not have an appropriate amount of shavings.
Well, I did. When I mentioned about cutting it up, that's what people thought, that I was just gonna go and like destroy the.
Turn it into a shredder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about getting the pages out. So.
I mean, if you know how to do graffiti, I would say graffiti, any kind of visual arts. You've already got a leg up on being able to figure out a new medium. I know they're all quite different, but all right. So I got my little 3D casket here. I don't know how much is coming through. The perspective on it's not great. It's like always been a weakness of mine. Maybe one of those things I need to like commit to like 100 days of perspective study or something like that. Don't quote me on it.
That sounds like a nightmare for me.
I mean, it sounds like a nightmare for me too. I mean, that's kind of the reason why I'm like bringing it up. It's like maybe I should actually do that.
I honestly have been thinking about drawing buildings a lot recently, though, because that's been one of my kind of weak points.
Drawing
But
buildings?
Yeah, but I really like pictures that have buildings in them. So I've been thinking a lot about, painting little cities and towns and making the buildings all whimsical. So, and then I was thinking, like, do I really need perspective for it?
Do you really need perspective for it? I mean, if you make it whimsical enough, you don't actually need to do the perspective.
Because a lot of pieces that I like of other artists don't maybe focus on that.
I'm immediately like, oh, like what if he had like a kind of, I was like, okay, is this just going to be a thing where it's like a guy with bulky shoulders and tiny legs? And I'm like, well, what could I do to the shape to kind of like build it out? And I was thinking, what if he had like a long train that was like kind of like sawed and there was like a train of like gravestones kind of trailing behind him. That would be pretty cool, but I'm like out of space. I'm out of like space on the paper already. Is a graveyard golem with graveyard golem I think is a good way to describe what I'm doing here. But I want to go with overgrown also. So I want to have like I wonder if I should have just started way smaller. I might just start on the next page. My typical drawing process is that I like start to think on the page. I was thinking it would be cool to have like a really tangled tree coming off of them, maybe with like a noose hanging off of it or something, like a bunch of like twisted branches with like ropes coming off of it, and then like lots of roots and stuff growing up over the top of the thing. But I'm out of room at the top, I'm out of room on the bottom, and like I was coming into this without a clear sense of like what I wanted to draw or what shape it needed to be, and now I'm like boxed in by the paper. This is typical for me. This is part of the reason I don't usually show this, is because most of my drawing process involves a series of like false starts and shit work.
So that's what I did. I did a false start, and then I figured, like, you know what, maybe I should do some thumbnails first.
Do you want to do some thumbnails? Yeah, thumbnails are like kind of a good idea, but like
I actually haven't done any in a long time.
I don't.
Still your eraser for a
Yeah,
second.
all right. So yeah, like for real, like my drawing process usually involves like a series of like really lame, bad false starts and like shitty drawings, and I just lose the pages. You know, I just let the pages be bad, and then I move on. And then sometimes I like put pencil to paper, and like magic happens, and I get a drawing I really like, and I take that forwards. And like I'm always just kind of waiting for that magic to happen, rather than like worry whether or not I'm going to waste a page in my sketchbook. Which, like, you know, that's always worked for me. But I appreciate that, like, I've always appreciated that, like, some people can like do like good pages every single time.
I usually just commit to a painting right away, so I'm even worse about that. So I just commit to making a bad painting.
Yeah, the whole painting. You're like, I'll just let this whole painting be bad.
Oh, Kim is talking about hanging out in art supply stores. Yeah, like that's just one of my favorite things to do. To
Yeah.
just go to an art supply store and look at the art supplies.
Yeah, not to blow Dustin shit up too much, but he was talking about maybe wanting. I was like, you know, you should just go out and get some art supplies. I was like, if you've never hung out in an art supply store, they smell awesome.
Oh, it's like,
I was like, you got to get out to Blick
yeah.
and like go just experience what it's like just browsing the aisles of an art supply store. I love doing it, even though I don't actually like use that many art supplies.
I have such a hard time restraining myself from buying things I don't need though when I'm there.
Art supply stores are awesome. The smell.
Yeah.
The smell is fantastic. It's one of the coziest, most like heartwarming smells ever, is the inside of an art supply store.
Yeah, I don't think I've gone to an art store without buying anything though. Like I'll come out with at least a pencil and an eraser.
They're gonna get at least $5 out of you when you walk in the door.
They will.
Which never feels like an expense. It always feels like an investment.
It's like, oh, I need some pens.
Second only to bookstores. Bookstores also smell real good.
Yeah.
I'm less tempted in bookstores though. I'm like, what am I gonna do with these? Read them? Come on. I like the idea of books. I don't usually like actually picking them up and reading them.
I like it.
Yeah, you like it, and you know, you actually like read your books.
I have actually been listening to them recently. For the past few years, I've been listening to books more than reading them. I aspire to be reading books, but I haven't been making time for it lately.
I wonder if maybe what I need out of this actually is just to sort of like let some of these construction lines define kind of like the outer limits of where the possibilities are, and just actually erase out the bits I definitely don't want. Scale the whole thing back a bit. Just let the whole thing be a bit messier. Because I just don't want to like waste everyone's time sitting here like watching me fumble around for a bit and then start over. Which is like, again, exactly what it's like when I'm doing it by myself. It's not like I'm like rushing it or doing a bad job or being extra slow because I'm on stream. I'm This is normal for
Well,
me.
to be fair though, it is a lot harder to be drawing and talking.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Not for you?
Well, I'm not really. Yeah, if I'm explaining what I'm doing, I'm kind of swapping between drawing and like having a thought and like stepping away from the drawing, then looking back and looking at the drawing again.
Mm-hmm.
We need to see the whole process. Yeah, I'll show you the whole process. It's like part of the reason I think I like to keep it mysterious is because it's not that exciting, you know. There's just a lot of ugly stages where I see the potential in it, but it maybe isn't actually that good on its own. The magic kind of happens at the point, you know, sort of later, I feel like.
I just want to draw animals.
You just
There's gonna
want
be a lot of animals in this one. Animals everywhere.
it's like I'm thinking a lot about the body proportions, like what I want to do to like make it interesting. Like what could I do that's like a little creative? Like I was thinking like maybe instead of originally I've got them like these very gorilla-like proportions, you know, big arms, big shoulders, smaller lower body, and then the legs are kind of getting stout. But I'm thinking like I want to do something that feels a little bit more Elden Ring, you know? So I'm wondering maybe if I was going to give him a train anyway, maybe he's just got like a ton of little legs. And he's got like a few like skeleton legs that are kind of like just like falling out the bottom.
I don't think I have ever drawn a cemetery.
I feel like I might have done it for Magic the Gathering. I feel like I've done something that is cemetery-esque.
With like tombstones and stuff?
Yeah, I mean for Innistrad, I guess Grimgrin was kind of in a, but like I'm thinking here about, yeah, giving him like really weak spindly legs, like anti-quads. Yanagi, yeah, this is like I'm doing Drawtober, and I wanted it doesn't require you actually draw and do pencil, but I wanted to take it on as an opportunity to like push myself into drawing in pencil again, which I haven't been doing enough of recently. And yeah, I like came in today and I was saying out loud to Anya like I don't want to do this. I don't. I really don't want to do this. Like, I really want to just, like, do a study. I want to keep it easy. I'm getting a lot done this morning. I'm feeling a little burned out. I don't really want to, like, get into something hard. I don't want to mess with my setup. I don't want to, like, have the stream go bad. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to. And that's exactly the reason why I have to do it. You need to start making food. You're so hungry. Kim's out. I always stream during Kim's mealtime, so I feel like Kim's gonna slowly associate with me with getting really hungry. If we ever do hang out, I think that as soon as she hears my voice, she's gonna start rumbling in the tummy.
I think when we hang out, we just need to bring food.
What? Oh, with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just bring food.
Yeah. We'll bring some. We'll bring a casserole. Extremely Pavlovian. Yeah. You hear my very distinct voice, and you start thinking like, "Damn, I could go for a bite." But because this guy, I'm thinking about him having this like longer cape of like gravestones and moss and like this like long cape of you know, this like sod that's got like gravestones coming out of it and stuff. I'm gonna have to like, if I could tape two pieces of paper together, this is actually not too bad vertically, but like I might start over and like tear this out once I get like a little bit of a concept going, and then do the next page horizontal, because I really do like the idea that he's more long than he is tall. This big shoulder is like, I think, saying too much. I think it.
So you said it's gonna be a golem kind of situation, or
Yeah.
so is he gonna have like concrete parts in him, or?
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, well, he's like he's made of graveyard stuff. Like he's
You
just
should make his head a mausoleum.
well, yeah. So I'm thinking about having like a gravestone that's just like perched all the way out horizontally to be like the head, like a tiny head that's just like a single gravestone that's like really perched in correctly to call attention to itself. And then I was thinking maybe that like the back would have like a mausoleum sticking out of it. And then I could stick like an angel statue up on the top of the mausoleum, sort of sticking out of his spine.
Drawing an angel statue also.
But like I could have like a spiked roof for the mausoleum sticking out for the spine. I wish this drawing was a little bit more visible. Can I do a little adjustment on? Can I do a filter on here? Wait, the audio filters, no. Effects filters. Chroma key, color correction, luma key, render delay, scaling, scroll, sharpen.
You needed contrast.
Color correction, can I do pump the contrast a little bit? This is working. Oh, not brightness. Just
Ooh, Kim is saying she's making a chili baked inside a summer squash. That sounds so good. I am actually pretty interested. Could you forward us a recipe? Because that sounds like something I'd want to try to make.
Dustin's an avid consumer of chili. There we go. You'll be disappointed if there's no food. We'll make sure there's something. All right. So, okay. I want the head should be just like the corner of a hill or something, right? Like it's like the whole point is that it's an overgrown graveyard. So I need to make sure that the graveyard idea holds more so than it's just a big pile of corpses.
Yay, you're gonna get a DM.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Anya's going to prepare this and I'm going to eat it.
That sounds about right. No, you do cook sometimes.
I cook. Oh. I like the idea of there being a corpse falling out of the grave that's coming out of his chest. Like I like the idea of the grave in the chest, but I do want there to be a little guy in there. I think that adds a lot of flavor.
Is he gonna be like a skeleton or more of a
maybe like mummified,
decomposing?
maybe like a mummified guy.
Uh-huh.
And I think like I just kind of want him hanging out of there and maybe being held in by roots. So there's just like roots or whatever overlapping coming through the coffin.
Mm-hmm.
Coffin is the word I was looking for earlier. I was saying casket.
Isn't it the same thing?
It's the same thing. I was just like looking for a word and I was having streamer brain.
I've been having something with my brain for a while now. No, it's funny. I was
Having
talking
brain.
Yeah, I was talking to Sawyer and I was putting everything backwards and he kept correcting me.
Yeah, whenever you're anxious, you start having like word problems.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah, I've got these like smaller shapes and I've got some of the big ones, but there's not a lot of intermediate stuff and there's not a lot of like big connective tissue. I don't know where all of my darkest creases are going to be, and I haven't really pinned down the overall like shape of this guy in a really clear way. So one of the things I was thinking about is maybe I use some of these to like help establish some of that. Like maybe I just do like a little bit of an armature sketch here, and then I start to like build in some graphite shading, because I'm typically trying to go for something that's like a semi-clean mechanical pencil drawing, but this is a pretty hard lead. And so once I start getting a lot of construction lines down, there's only so much contrast I'm able to build into it with this tool. Vanta TDM, thanks so much. Yeah, the Kickstarter is going awesome. And like it's another opportunity to be able to like put a spotlight on the books. I'm really excited about that.
So your drawing may give me an idea, actually.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna do
You
it.
steal my
but
idea?
I was thinking about, like, what if he was the cemetery?
What? Who was the cemetery?
This is going thing. What if it was just that the cemetery was moving?
That's the point. That's the idea.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize that
It's like a bunch of
didn't come across
corpse
it.
parts coming out the bottom, and there's gravestones coming out the top, and there's like a mausoleum with
But then
with
you
like
make
a
it-
soaring
you make it
angel statue.
More plant-like.
More what?
Plant-like.
Plant-like?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's going to be like a tree, like
Okay.
growing out of him, right?
Eat some grass.
And then
moss.
there's going to be grass and moss like coming off of his back,
Okay.
and like his arm is currently just like
Oh,
roots.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's really hard. For
I
me
know,
to
yeah,
know what's going on there right now.
but that's the thing is this is part of the reason why it's like when I'm drawing, I'm thinking through the ideas on the page. Like I have a couple of rough ideas to go start with, and I'm thinking through them. And I don't think that I can hand this off to somebody and be like, yeah, go do finish this.
Yeah.
Like what? Like there's something I see in it that is like potentially very cool, but for the most part, it's just nonsense. It's just worthless junk. But except for the part that's like being held in my head, which is going to kind of get fed out slowly, bit by bit. I like that he's got like the moss coming off the front of like that this is like all like rock and dirt under here, and there's like moss coming off the top. Kind of like he's got a flat top hair.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms? It's a little large scale for mushrooms, I think. You can draw your own mushrooms.
Oh, I know, because it's the best one. They're like, you should draw this.
You should draw this. You should draw that. No, how about you draw your own dang thing?
Like, I give you ideas and you draw them.
Dude, I tried to do a collab stream with somebody where I was like, hey, do you want to do a thing where you like come up with ideas and I draw them? And they're like, let's use AI. I was like, no.
Wait, what? When did that happen?
It's in my email. I'm like, I don't want to do, no. How about we leave the AI out of this and we just focus on drawing, you know? Maybe the gravestone is just like a little hat. Or maybe it's like, maybe it's not coming at a weird angle. I like the idea that he's got like one gravestone at the top that's just like his. And I could do a cross. I mean, I've got a cross over here, but like, what if it was like one of those eternal flames? What does an eternal flame look like? Are they just like a bowl, with like a light on it? You never seen an eternal flame?
No.
They like have like a little brazier or something that you can have at the graveyard that like.
Well, in Poland we just would bring candles.
Yeah, exactly. And so maybe he's got like a bunch of. Well, he's got like a bowl for like a lit flame up at the front on top of the head.
Somebody is telling you that you need to put spider webs under.
Spider webs? Like, you gotta need to see any spider webs. Well, it's gonna be the world's biggest freaking spider. Spider webs. It's all covered in spider. Look, it's already covered in spider webs. Little hat gravestone. I'm glad it's pleasing you.
Okay, I am now convinced that I will not actually do this prompt.
It didn't take that long.
Yeah, I don't really want to draw a cemetery. Might skip on this week. What's the next one?
But they're all Halloween themed.
Oh, that's fine. I just don't necessarily want to have pictures of graves. There was one with library and moss.
We've got to look up Drawtober. Did they not do a website? I don't think they did a website.
There is Discord and Instagram.
Oh, Instagram is previewing the image blurry because it hates us. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Moth Bitten Library.
Maybe I should just do that.
You can get started on that. And you can deliver it day after tomorrow, and you'll be right on time. Moth bitten library. What am I gonna do for that? I'm gonna focus on the moth. I think.
Yeah, I like moths.
Or maybe a moth maybe a decently large moth like eating a book.
Yeah.
Like a sandwich. Just like a really giant evil looking moth, like holding like a book like this, like and just eating it like a sandwich. That'd be pretty fun. I can turn all these environmental props into characters, I guarantee you. In Instagram, Twitter, and DA? They've got a DA and no website?
Yeah, I think the cemetery sounds too much as like a prompt for like, what do you call it? Like a commission. I don't know why. It just is so outside of what I would want to draw normally.
That's a cop. That's a cop out.
Uh-huh.
Full cap.
I am still working on thumbnails here, so maybe I'll change my mind, but...
All right. So I like the idea of like the grass kind of hanging over the top of the head, like for like a haircut. But like maybe it's also hanging off the shoulders, like kind of like those pauldrons that they get for like military guys that have like the things that kind of dangle down. Then we give them some definition on the shoulders, something that's going to be cool there.
Giant moth piling up books to eat them.
I like the idea that he's like sitting on a pile of books and he's just got one and he's just got like there's like a full bite out of it.
Yeah.
Like a sandwich bite. And he's just sitting down having his lunch. He's like in the middle of his work at the library and he's deciding to like tuck into his like lunchbox. He's got more books in there, just eating them. A moth made of books? Come on now. Don't be ridiculous. I was thinking a lot about the body. Inside the body is like a bunch of caskets. That so we've got this, the thing that I'm liking about this idea is it's kind of like layered. Like at the top of them, you've got all the grass, right? And the tombstones coming out the back. And like the sort of suggestion of the mausoleum kind of emerging out of the back. And then you kind of go, now that we get this X-ray vision into them, like inside the bulk of the body is like all gravestones. Or not gravestones, but caskets under the ground. And then falling out the bottom is all these corpse legs and stuff. And so we have this kind of like layering coming across there. And I don't really think I don't really want a big gorilla body, but I think I am going to have a kind of like, what are those things that the bokoblins ride around on? The stone talus in Tears of the Kingdom?
Like the ramp kind of thing?
Yeah, the big stone guys that the bokoblins like ride around on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe something like that because he's got these really big shoulders at the top. So he's kind of like a graveyard talus. But I was also thinking, like, I don't want him to look too strong. I was thinking about having maybe the one, like, the arms are differently proportioned. Like, one of them is going to be, like, really active and maybe more normal sized, and the other one's going to be big and oversized and lumpy and dragging across the ground.
If you're going to ink this.
Am I going to ink it? Fuck no. This isn't Inktober. Not for me. I hate inking stuff.
Really?
Nothing against inking. I love seeing people's good ink. I just like...
Have you inked anything before?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen you.
I mean, not in the last 10 years.
I don't think I've seen you.
I think like, oh yeah, when was the last time I inked something? And I'm like, remembering me trying to ink stuff from college.
I don't remember seeing anything.
I tried to do an ink drawing once on a magic card for like Theros. That was over 10 years ago.
I was trying to figure out what your inking would even look like, and I imagine a lot of fast strokes.
Kim says, my brother told me a terrible story from a gravedigger he once knew. Is that all we get? Please? Are you allowed to tell this story? Please don't tell me you're going to bring that up and then not tell us the story. Like an awful story from a real life gravedigger on this month of our Lord, October, the spookiest month of the year. You're going to deny us the story? Really gnarly experience this guy had. I don't know if it's safe for stream, and yet you're bringing it up. You're teasing us with it.
Well, you know, you are in a privileged position where you can find out from her later.
I guess, but like this is content, and we're being
This is content.
teased with content. No, I'm sorry, it's too spicy for you. You're selling this like to an unbelievable degree. I don't even know if you realize. Chat GPT, the story. Come on.
I feel like I need some reference.
Why?
Because I'm trying to remember like what.
Graves look like?
No, not the gravestones. Just like a pile of dirt before they actually put like the tombstone on it and stuff.
Pile of dirt that they put the tombstone on?
Before, like usually, like when somebody gets buried, they put like the ground on, and then they. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking about.
What are you thinking about?
European cemeteries that are different than American ones, where they.
Okay.
Like the American ones are just grass. But I was thinking like, in Europe when someone would die, like they would bury them, and then for a while it would be just all covered with flowers and reeds and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Before they put like the actual tombstone on.
I was thinking maybe there was like a giant skeletal arm coming out of the like pile of knotted roots that make up like this right arm. And the left arm, maybe there's just like a suggestion of a hand kind of buried inside of it. That like there's maybe like a giant skeleton guy, but he's also been overgrown with a cemetery that's like grown on top of him. Add a little perspective here to the shoulder. I don't think I'm gonna like start over on this actually on another sheet of paper. I think I'm just going to suggest this long train of like moss and stuff hanging off the back, because I've got enough interesting things kind of happening through the middle of them now that I kind of don't care if I get this like long shape kind of peeling back here, trailing back here. You just have to imagine it. There's like a lot of really cool stuff happening off the page on the right here. Just like give it whatever you think is like the coolest thing that could be happening over here. That's exactly what's going on.
So Severe Rain is saying how they hope you continue to make creatures throughout all the prompts.
I feel like that's likely to happen just because I'm not likely to like turn it into like just like a hot lady, you know, or like just like a hot person doing something cool. Like the prompts are all so environmental that I think that if I'm going to try to like avoid doing environmental pieces, monsters are like the easiest, lowest road to go. All right. So gather around, boys and girls. It's story time from Kim.
Nice.
This chap was digging a grave using the newfangled invention of a JCB. And so the thing with cemeteries, especially ones on a hill like this one, is that the groundwater tends to move things. And this guy was bringing up a bucket and a half this guy was bringing the bucket up, and halfway through digging, he finds himself face to face with a fully decomposing corpse that had slid into the place he was digging. I mean, that's kind of what you would expect, right? I thought this was going to have like a weird twist to it. Like a grave digger is digging a grave, and then it turns out I thought he was going to like, there's going to be some interaction that was going to happen. Yeah, it's like gross.
I read a weird romance book about Gravedigger.
Weird bad romance book?
I didn't say it was bad. It was weird. I didn't expect it to be, well, I guess I should have expected, because it was called Anatomy, the Love Story.
Anatomy, the Love Story?
Yes.
Oh, gross.
Well, no, it wasn't gross. It was interesting. But weird. Not what I expected.
Like, I was thinking for Kim's story, like, could we top this up a little bit? Like, what if he's discovering that there's like this machine is like pulling out all of this stuff in like one piece, and he's seeing that there's something inside of it, and as he's leaning in, like one AirPod falls down.
Do you know?
and he has to go in after he tries to like reach in for the AirPod, and he falls in, and he ends up becoming entirely submerged in a slurry of loose mud and corpse pieces.
So here's a weird thing that I realized. Like, I have hard time watching horror movies, and I have hard time watching gore and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have zero problems reading about this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, none. Like, I don't think I've read a book that I found too gross or too scary. They can describe all kinds of stuff. And I wonder if it's just that I don't see it quite as well in my mind's eye as, you know.
I don't know. I don't like gore or anything, but I like spooky stuff. It makes it hard for me with horror movies because I like the aesthetics of horror movies. I just don't like the part where people get chopped up.
Not all horror movies have.
I know, but
Yeah.
but there's like a lot of them. That's like a big staple of the genre is like, oh, look at these kills. I'm like, I don't really want to see people get killed. So
Yeah.
like the draw for a lot of them ends up being the very worst part of it for me. I feel a little bad, but also I feel like I'm being left out. No, once I did scare the crap out of a bus driver who decided to pee in an old graveyard, and I was exploring and happened to be wearing a long coat. The guy ran so fast. And then he dropped his AirPod into a grave, and he went after it, and he got covered in a pile of corpses. I don't know. I'm just kind of enchanted by the idea that like a modern day grave digger is going to have to deal with the fact that his AirPod could fall out at any minute during the course of his work.
And the moral of the story is AirPods suck.
Yeah, I love my AirPods.
I know.
But also, once I was grilling and my AirPod fell into the grill, and I snatched it out like a kung fu master. Like it fell into the grill and like got stuck on the grate, and I like snapped it up like fucking Master Miyagi.
I don't think you told me about that.
And like that was the old pair, the one that actually started to like have weird problems later, and it was not because
not
of
fire
it's
related?
not because I grilled it for just a split second. But yeah, if you drop an AirPod into the grill, you're really not supposed to go in after it. But like,
I am
I've been
surprised.
protected by the power of angels, so I was allowed to do it. I have like had all these experiences where it feels like those little bastards are ready to fall out at the least opportune moment in my entire life. Like I dropped one in the kitchen, and it ran all the way across the kitchen
Yeah.
floor and then
Like,
ducked
all
under
the way under the
ducked like all the way under the
stove.
stove. And we were like swiping in there with like a broom handle trying to pull everything out. We
No,
discovered
you need, like, a
everything that was
ruler.
it was like it was a ruler, but it was like everything that was underneath the stove came out before the AirPod. They're like kind of like a living species. They have a mind of their own. They're always trying to make a break for it.
Nothing stays inside my ears. I cannot wear those.
All right, I've got a little bit of form coming together on this thing. I kind of know where I'm going with it in terms of like it having a structure. So I'm wondering if maybe I should like switch to maybe some softer pencils and see if I could kind of glaze in a little bit of shading. That'd be not stick to the paper too much. Like something really soft, like 8B. That way I can kind of block it out a little bit. Learn from like my study process here. Yeah, barbecued AirPod. Yeah, I got moisture in my headphones, and now it sounds like I'm underwater if I use them for mic. Yeah,
I think that's what happened to yours.
Well, I was told that like the iPhones were like highly water resistant or whatever, and so I was filming slow motion underwater stuff in my pool with my phone, and it worked fine, but afterwards the earpiece would only go up to half volume. And so but it worked on speakerphone just fine. So I had either speakerphone or AirPods on my phone for like the next 2 years, I think it was, because like I don't upgrade every year on my phone because we're kind of frugal like that. And it's not.
Are you supposed to upgrade every year?
No, but people get really into that kind of shit. They like it's like a sort of keeping up with the Joneses thing where everyone's got to have the newest iPhone. Like we don't. So I just like decided to like, but then I've decided not to try to test my new iPhone. New as in I bought it like a year ago.
I don't know. Yeah.
I've decided not to try to film underwater scenes with my iPhone anymore after that. But I did get water splashed on it, and it did sound weird for like a week.
So somebody in there has still their iPhone 7. I think that's
iPhone 7?
I think that's what I had until before we got the last one.
Maybe.
I think I had iPhone 7, but then it like started to really act up, and I lost all
I
my
had
features. And
I had a 4 that I had for a while, and then I had an 8, and now I think I've got a 14.
no, I'm pretty sure my previous one.
So instead of every year, we do it like every
5.
Yeah, about every 5 years.
Like usually when the battery stops working, and
Yeah.
that's where.
Well, it was like when one of us has enough of a problem that justifies upgrading the phone, the other one goes, I want a new phone too. And then we get 2 of them.
I have to say though, like we did end up getting this one for me mostly because of the cameras.
But the cameras are great. Such a huge
They are
upgrade, the older
good,
ones.
But I don't like how everything gets auto-corrected. Like I don't like the auto contrast. I don't like everything gets enhanced and you cannot turn it off, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
Like when you
The video in the new iPhone Pros, the super expensive ones, allow you to shoot on like a RAW format. I think. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to see if like I'm just trying to block in like larger segments of value here, just really loosely, and then I might see if I can kind of erase in and cut some of the edges and also like build in some more complex shapes in the middle of it. But I'm hoping that this like sort of sits on top of the paper in a way that's going to be easy to push around so that I can get a little bit more of a sense of the volume of this thing, and that'll help me like make the next layer of choices on it in a way that's going to be a little bit more refined. Just take this really, really loose drawing and just keep working on top of it. This is not a technique I typically do, so this is all just experimental, the same way I do with my studies, been doing with my study streams, just trying out slight variations on existing workflows and just testing it to see what sticks. I don't even typically use the side of the pencil that much because I'm typically just working with the mechanical pencil all the way through. A multicultural cemetery.
Yeah, I was thinking, because like when you think about cemetery, a lot of times it's kind of Christian with crosses and stuff, but there's so many people who are not Christian and they have burial grounds too.
Yeah.
What do those look like?
Non-Christians die too, I hear.
That's how they I'm just saying that I don't know what they look like.
Oh, like what a Jewish cemetery looks like, or a...
Or Muslim or Buddhist, or like one that doesn't have a cross on it.
Sure. It's a good point, though. The Christian cemeteries have definitely taken over the public consciousness when it comes to spooky stuff. But it's like, I was actually on a Discord call and somebody was taking photographs of a graveyard in Budapest, and it was just like, you know, straight out of a storybook.
There was a really, really, really one that's like really awesome one somewhere in Europe. I don't remember what it is, but it had like a lot of bones and stuff.
Bones and stuff. An ossuary.
I don't know. It was something that a friend of mine went to, and he took a bunch of pictures. But it was really neat. Like it felt unreal.
Yeah, they don't want you to see the bones anymore. They don't want you to like go and check out your relatives' like bare bones hanging out in a hole anymore. What's up with that? Why don't we return to tradition and get to see what our loved ones look like several years after their death. They're nice and cleaned up.
Arcane Cluster says, "Hey gang."
Hey. There's a bone church in Prague too. That's pretty cool. And then there's like the crypts in Paris.
The Paris cemetery is really neat. It has like a ton of mausoleums, like the one where all the famous people were buried in. I don't remember what it's called, but it's kind of crazy looking. Because it seems like all those, they're like little houses for families.
Makes me think of Succession.
Yeah, but they're cooler than the Succession one was kind of
Like he's like he bought it off the Pets.com guy for $3 million. It was a really good deal.
They said, I think they should, somebody says, I think they should just have a body on display until it's just bones.
I mean, that's kind of gross. I really don't honestly want to see that. What is a crypt? I mean, it's like a house for a dead person. Right?
I don't know.
That's where the tails come out of, is the crypt.
Uh-huh. The crypt keeper.
With the crypt keeper. He pops up out of the ground and he makes puns.
I remember being so scared of this thing as a kid.
What? A crypt?
The crypt keeper.
The crypt keeper? Oh yeah, he was pretty spooky for child audiences. I definitely remember him being kind of on the edge of what I was able to tolerate when I saw the crypt keeper on television. What?
I'm
struggling
really
with-
struggling with this. And the eraser is far away from me again.
You want an eraser?
You know what? I'm just gonna break it off. There. Now we can share.
I'm just going to break it off. That's it. Divorce.
Divorce.
What about the sepulcher? What's the difference between a crypt and a sepulcher?
I thought sepulcher was the one that like you have to go down the stairs and it's kind of buried underground, and there's like a lot of graves in there.
Ooh.
Or am I misremembering? This is kind of based on my very old World of Warcraft knowledge.
Everything
So
I
it's
know about
probably
real
right.
life graves are from World of Warcraft. Soft pencil feels really good to do details with too.
So, Arcane says, you don't usually sketch with a classic pencil, just mechanical pencil. What made you decide to take this approach for this sketch?
Well, I wanted to have more tools available as an option in case I wanted to kind of like mess around with my process. You know, a lot of these streams are about me kind of growing and learning. So I wanted to try out something that was a little different. You know, I was thinking about being able to sort of push the graphite around, because I typically don't finish sketches. I get them to the point where they're readable, and then I scan them in and I just start pulling together all of the next steps digitally. And I thought if I was going to do something that felt more like a complete drawing, I might actually need a wider variety of tools to be able to get there. You know, and if it's like, it turns out it's amazing, then I've got this brand new thing that I can use for my repertoire. And if it turns out fucking terrible, then I'll just like, I don't know, keep experimenting, keep mixing it up. Like, who cares? I'm going to put an earnest effort into it and do my best. And I've got until tomorrow to turn something in for this challenge. So, like, it's better that I like do a last minute ditch effort Hail Mary than just go play video games.
That reminds me, I want to play video games.
Yeah, video games are pretty good, right? You're still neck deep in Blasphemous.
Yeah, I haven't been.
Blasphemous
I
2.
didn't have time past couple days. I've been too tired.
You got some boss attempts to make. You have a lot of cemetery experience. I'm impressed. Well, yeah, okay, so if you've seen glimpses of my sketch, you've seen the whole thing. Like, there's not a lot that happens to the sketch beyond what you've already seen. Anything I've shown, I've even, like, published a full book of sketches for, like, the Angelarium books. You think, like, well, what am I missing? And the answer is you're not missing anything. Like, once it gets to a point where it's kind of loosely coming together and you can almost see what it is, it's done. Moving on. I'll leave all the precise sketching to Tim. You can have all of it. But
he doesn't have all of it. Babs has a lot of it.
Babs has some too, yeah.
There is a lot of people who can do incredible stuff with pencil.
Oh, for sure.
You can now I'm like running a whole list of them in my head.
Yeah, and I love pencil too. Like, I can actually do sort of a automatic drawing where all I do is like look for little shapes and all the noodly bits and like texture in the paper and stuff. And I can get some fairly precise drawing with a mechanical pencil if I just commit to the time on it. It's just I haven't made time to do that in a long time because it's just I've been so focused on, you know, finishing paintings. Gain something to the point where there isn't much else that needs to be worked out for turning it into a full project. Just quick 20-minute sketch in the scene where I can take it digitally from there. Yeah, I mean, that's what I have been doing for a long time. But, you know, sometimes I think like, hey, if I were to do a really, really good sketch, then I would have less fumbling around in the dark when it came to the digital side of things. And then, you know, maybe like taking it more slow and steady in the early stages would actually yield stronger results later on. Especially because like sketching is a little bit more intuitive and flexible than working with a tablet. But it's never really come together that way for me. Not yet. I need to have some, I think I need some texture in this grass. Going with a little bit of darker pencil is giving me a little more room to play with the values, which I like. One of the troubles I often have with pencil is it just feels like the amount of white is so daunting. Being able to lay in some like nice midtones and then go in again and put in some like way deeper marks gives me a lot more room to be able to like try to build up some shapes and add in some extra complexity. So I like it with my mechanical pencil has a little bit softer lead in it, but the lead I have in there right now, I think I've just sort of mindlessly loaded up with HB and it's feeling kind of hard.
Do you want me to buy you some lead?
Yeah, maybe.
I need more excuses to
Yeah,
go to art stores.
yeah. I was just saying, about to say, it gives you a nice excuse to get out to the art supply store. Yeah, so this guy's got a little bit of the head of it I'm pretty happy with at the moment. Maybe a little skull on the grave, on the headstone here. Oh, did somebody get auto-modded for using term "kill the white"? I love that when you brush in graphite, kill the white with light values that the brush offers. Yeah.
So you missed a comment about Sean's drawings.
Recently added to my Sean Murray collection. Snagged his third sketchbook. Love his work so much. Yeah. Sean's work is freaking great. And he's always got a sketchbook with him, and he's always adding more and more stuff. He does incredible amount of sketching. And it really like allows him to have this really full creative world, like being able to like more quickly bust out his ideas as sketches and to have lots of like sketch material sort of laying around is such a boon for him for world building. You know, for me, I'm always trying to make like the next perfect illustration, and I think it often holds me back in a way that Sean doesn't get stuck quite as much. But then he also kind of ends up with an excess of material, like too many different dogs to chase. Birds to chase? I'm not sure what kind of animal you're going to chase. But then his experience with the medium also allows him to really, really quickly build it up in a way that I'm kind of moving a little bit more slow and deliberate. Like, wasting my effort on bits. You know, you just naturally develop a certain amount of efficiency when you've done this sort of thing more. And I just don't draw enough, so I don't have that level of efficiency. Not as much as I'd want. Yeah, using a brush with graphite sounds really good. I've done some graphite powder work in the past, and I've always really loved it. I kept thinking like I could really get into brushed graphite and like graphite powder as a medium, but like definitely not in here. No.
Yeah, I was thinking about it too, because it's actually standing in, like, it's mixed in with my art supplies, and I have been thinking about it quite a lot. But
Yeah.
you said it was so messy, and I was just like, do I really want to deal with all the dust?
In your office, it's like we could
Yeah.
tuck into some pretty nice bulkier projects, but it's also I'm not doing anything with my hand here, so it's starting to get that graphite dust is sort of starting to smush around from my hand a little bit. Very typical for me.
Do you want like a...
Nah, it would have actually having some amount of diligence would be outside of my style, you know. So
Because you can put just a piece of paper there so that you don't smudge it. That's what I do with watercolor sometimes. So I don't want to get oil on my page. It is hot in here.
It gets hot in here. It sure does.
I don't like it when like the thumbnail composition ends up better than the final one.
Uh-huh.
I feel like maybe I just need to blow it up and then draw on top of it instead.
I know people that do that. Me and my brother always attract strange stuff, so I do have spookier tales to share. Maybe. Oh my god. So this is a teaser for the next episode of Kim's Spooky Hour.
It's getting late over at Kim's place, but in here it's still bright outside.
Yeah. Well, it's not bright here. It's like we are inside of a fallout shelter. If I were to do this for 30 days straight, I'd probably get a lot better at drawing really quickly.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking. Like, oh, I should draw more. But then I just like painting.
Yeah. I've been getting better at painting. Did you see my study from yesterday?
I don't think so.
My study from yesterday is pretty good, actually. I was like, yeah, I got a good one again. It's another handsome boy. Finished studies. Yeah, there you go. Oh, let's have him sneak into the frame over here. Spooky boy. Hard to loosen up with the lines. Yeah, I don't know. Like, keeping the lines loose has never been really too much of a struggle for me. It's like, where do I go from there? That's always the question. Like, the prospect of, like, building out more precise marks in a painting, to me, is not scary at all. But I always feel like there's some sort of, like, there's something kind of contingent about pencil where I'm just like, well, it should be kind of in the right place, but I never really want to like commit and say like that's where it's going to live. That's where that's the exact right mark in the exact right spot. And like as I start to like accumulate mistakes, I just go, I know enough of what that's supposed to be. I'll be fine when I get to the later stages.
Handsome spooky boys are where it is.
They are everything, or what?
I don't know.
They're fire.
Is that the
They're lit
young
AF.
people slang?
Yeah. I'm looking for a newer slang for saying the same thing. You know what I should get is I really don't like the texture, the tactile experience of sharpening a pencil.
Oh, really? I like it.
Oh, nails on a chalkboard.
Really?
I think I need to get an electrical sharpener so I can just.
I
I want to be able to satisfyingly hit a machine like whenever I want my pencil topped up.
I have spent time just sharpening pencils in the past. Like, you know, just grabbing all of
I
the
always
color
feel like as I'm
pencils and
twisting it, and I feel like I'm going to break the tip off, and then it's just like, oh, it's more scraping to get that tip down
see,
again.
I was reading that you're supposed to be turning your sharpener rather than the pencil, and that's the bit I don't understand.
Really?
But sharpening pencils makes me feel like a child, so I kind of like it. And I like the smell of it.
I do like the smell. I don't like the texture. Texturally, it sets me off.
And the electric ones, they're just so noisy.
They are very noisy, but I don't know. I'll hit the mute button if it bothers other people. But I wonder if I should get one and just be able to...
Nothing beats a little knife for pencil
A
sharpening.
little knife.
I've done that with a kitchen knife before, which
I like
is probably not best.
I like a little sharp knife. A little sharp knife sounds like fun.
But can you get a really good point with it?
I don't know. On one side, at least. Like, that's a thing I think that is underappreciated about a pencil is that it's not always round. So you as you twist it through your hands, you get a different shaped tool. I had Knife Kun back in mid 2000s. I did, yeah. I've got a couple. I bought a CEO knife. I bought an executive knife for opening packages, and it's it's great. It's one of my favorite things that I own.
Meanwhile, I still open packages with steak knives.
Ugh, with the steak knives, and you get adhesive all over our cutlery. Thank you for that.
I wash them afterwards. I do.
No, I believe you. I'm saying yeah, you do that, yeah. Got on a plane and somehow my pencil sharp knife, no idea how, it got searched at customs. They missed it. Yeah. I've gotten through customs with plenty of things I'm not supposed to over the years. Never, well, Sometimes not intentionally. They've only ever caught the stuff that was actually totally like not a problem,
And then opened it up.
but was like yeah, they either opened up my bag in ways that were really problematic, like breaking my art supplies to search them for no reason, or like throwing out my hot sauce. But when it's come to like things like cash and drugs, they've like missed it every time.
I started putting my paints inside carry-on all the time so that I can show them what it is. Because I have a lot of my paints are in those tin cases that do, you know, set up the scanner. Yeah, my brain feels fried right now.
Just trying to draw and talk.
Just I've been so stressed out past few days.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it's going to get better from here?
I don't know. Like, October is weird. There's too much going on.
We got a lot going on this month.
Did you know that schools have a notary?
Schools have a notary, really?
Mm-hmm. And that we could have just went, because, yeah, that was one of the things I realized recently. Like, one of the things I had to do is get something notarized twice this week for one of our son's school. And that's how I found that they have a notary. And
Interesting.
that's when we were looking for one for his, like, what is it, sports firm, like last year, we could have just taken it to school.
That was so weird. We went to the UPS store to get a notary because there's notary. I'd always see whenever I drop off packages, they'd be like, "We've got a notary here." So we needed to get something notarized. We went to the UPS store, and the guy's like, "Oh, the notary's not here, but I can get my friend, who's a
that was
notary, to come in."
Different notary situation. The one with the school thing, we got somebody to sign it, and they said they're doing it for free because it's for a kid. So they didn't charge us for it. The one where they were trying to rope their friend into it or something was when we needed one for a house related thing.
Yeah. I remember it was really weird. It was like the guy was like lying to us about something, and then he was like trying to like be like, no, just don't go somewhere else. I'll just get the guy over. He'll be here in 10 minutes.
He was like trying to call him, but he couldn't get a hold of him, and then he was trying to get us to call him.
Yeah.
It was very strange.
It was really weird.
And in that case, it also turned out that we didn't need one because they could have just done it at the mortgage place or whatever.
Yeah. Guy had a hustle going. I'm trying to rope us into it.
I do not like that UPS store.
It's got the worst.
The parking there is.
It's got the worst parking lot I've ever visited in my whole life.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna bring the size of these tombstones down a little bit to make the size of my guy bigger.
Did you put a fence in there somewhere?
Yeah, I gave him a little fence on,
Uh-huh.
like for a little epaulette.
Nice.
You always get searched. You got one of those faces. I do not have one of those faces. I never get searched, except for that one time in Israel, where I was very suspicious.
Well, yeah, you were very suspicious, in fact. With all your dirty clothes
Yeah.
just dumped into the suitcase.
I think they were thinking I was getting human trafficked, because it didn't seem like I was personally. Like, that's the thing, is like, it's not just that like the person is potentially a threat, it's that like they may have gotten convinced to do something on behalf of someone else.
But they were looking for your phone and looking at your family photos.
Yeah.
I want to get some water. Would you like some too?
Oh, yeah. You look like you're up to no good at all times. Doesn't... That's a cool look, though. I mean, you're just saying that you look cool. You're just bragging. You're like, yeah, they think I look tough and dangerous whenever I go to the airport. It's no big deal, though. Like, low-key, they can always spot me from a crowd because I'm so cool and interesting. I don't have that problem. People don't look at me and say, that guy looks cool and interesting. I wonder what he's got going on.
You look angry when you're like in this kind of situations.
Yeah.
They have this frown and like between your eyes, and then
It's true.
well, at the airport at least, not always.
And most places where I'm dealing with any kind of service people.
Yeah, I feel like you immediately just kind of get upset.
Yeah, I'm ready to fly off the handle whenever it comes to dealing with customer service for anything.
Well, it feels kind of justifiable.
It is
Think about
justified.
it.
It's always justified. All right? I'm always justified. Uh-oh. Look at this. See? Look at this. This is what I'm always scared of. I've got a loose tooth.
Well, then just sharpen it. Or I can do it for you.
Do I do it for me? I'm going
If
to switch
If
pencils.
it's some paint that you hate so much,
See, I
and I actually enjoy.
use the 5B. I'm not sure the 5B is going to be specifically better for anything. I also haven't erased into anything to sort of bring out any
How
highlights.
sharp do you want this thing to be?
Oh, as sharp as you can get it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was wondering if the sound of the sharpening pencils comes off on the mic.
Little
Yeah.
You look furtive?
I guess it's a way to describe it, yes.
Describe what? Describe Kim?
Furtive.
I don't think I look furtive.
Am I misremembering what that word means?
I don't know. Furtive is like scared, like a rodent. I think that the...
Oh, really? I thought it meant like thoughtful, like lost in thought, like very...
No, I don't think so.
Huh, okay.
I imagine Ringling students look furtive.
Okay.
They always look like they're in
Then I
fight or
did
flight mode.
misremember what that word means. No, you're too quiet.
Yeah, I'm realizing that like I have the ability to actually control what's going on the page, but it's going to require me to like focus on where I am versus where I want to be. And so I'm sitting here scrunching my forehead as hard as I can to try to make it psychically control the pencil. Trying to focus my mind powers.
How is it working for you?
Good. It's going excellent. I'm pretty happy with this so far.
I just realized that if I put like more plants in this and less graves, then I can actually make something that I'm happy
Arcane
with.
Cluster says, is this Kim Myatt? She says, yeah, that's me, unless I owe you money or something. Then it's not me.
Yes. How many legs does he have?
Oh, right now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs.
Oh, okay.
9, maybe 9 over here. Can draw his little toe beans in.
So you're gonna finish this on the stream?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what I want to do with it. Like, I might decide that I want to spend a little time with it, like tonight or tomorrow, like kind of poking away at it to see if it, like, I can get something that feels like a finished graphite piece. Oh, Prime sub from Age of the Atom. Thank you so much. If any of you guys got any loose Prime subs hanging around, happy to take them off your hands.
Oh, are you sick, Dustin?
Sneezing hardcore and have to lay down a bit. Oh, geez, I'm sorry, dude.
He also says remind people to follow.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to remind you guys. Like, follow, and subscribe. I mean, if you follow the channel, and you're not already followed, then you'll get notifications when I'm going live. Hey, Prime sub from Shatter Ninja. They've got free Bezos bucks lying around too. Thank you so much. Thank you for picking me. If you guys want to be cool like Shatter Ninja, you can go and find where that Prime button is and sub for cost you $0. If you already got Prime, you can give me the money. They'll give me money. Twitch will give me money and it won't cost you anything. It's awesome. But then they'll also keep half of it, which is funny. They'll give me. They're like, you got $5. I was like, really? And they're like, here's your $2.50. I'm like, those are your $5 the whole time. Like, I don't get it.
I don't think I know enough about Twitch.
Yeah, it's all very confusing.
So are you still advertising your Kickstarter?
Oh, I think there's a little automated thing that pops up advertising the Kickstarter.
Is there?
Yeah, but also, like, one of the things, I was in my email and stuff today doing that instead of getting ready for the stream, and, like, one of the things I need to do is actually go and send out another email blast to, like, my full list, because we're past the halfway point at this point, so I got to give people a halfway through reminder.
Man,
If I had finished the painting here, the one that's in the,
They cannot see that one.
there, you can see it in the thumbnail, the
they can see
Chariot
it.
Tarot that's over there in the background. If I had finished that, then I could be like, mailing list, Chariot Tarot. Also, the Kickstarter is still running. But I haven't finished it. So I don't get the easy excuse. I might just blast them again and be like, Kickstarter is still running, just in case you...
Like, this piece looks like it would be fast to finish at this point. It just
It's all noodling, yeah. I'm oh, hey! There's a 2x Prime sub from Taha Can't Draw. I don't believe you. I believe that you can draw. But I really do appreciate that you're hitting me with them Prime subs. Yeah, we got to like 100 subs, and I was like, oh my god, that was our goal. We hit 100, and then like immediately the month ticked over, and it was just like boom, straight down from like 100 down to like 60. And I was like, that's all right.
I really have no idea how it works. Do you have to resub each month?
Yeah, it's like kind of like Patreon, except for instead of them taking 10%, they take 50%.
And people have to like resubscribe. It doesn't do it automatically.
I think you can set it up to like commit to a certain number of resubscriptions, but like the default is like 1. Yeah.
Okay.
And like, and you also get way lower benefits than something like Patreon. The whole thing's kind of weird, but it's like, I mean, it's all tied to the whole video platform. So like, if you're deeply invested in the Twitch ecosystem, it's like extra good. But
Twitch scares me, which is kind of funny that I'm here with you
Why?
right now. Huh?
You said, why does it scare you? I mean, you seem to be fine hanging out on my stream.
Maybe just being by myself, trying to come up with things to talk about would be terrifying.
Oh, my solution is that I just don't talk for long stretches. Oh, and I'm going to put on some music. I keep forgetting to put on my stream beats. Got the stream beats. It's they specifically made, like, people make albums specifically for streamers that they're not going to get caught on the copyright.
It says if you subscribe with Prime, it does not auto.
It does not auto re-up. Okay, that's maybe why it dropped so bad, because we got like a lot of people who are doing Prime subs, and then the next month it was like all gone, which is great. I mean, they gave us like free money. It's like the fact that it wasn't free money every month is like whatever. Like getting any at all is like awesome. Gratitude. You have to imagine your whole family's arms and legs being torn off.
Wait, what?
How
I just lose train of thought. Where is this
Just thinking about Gary Vee. Every time I hear about gratitude, I think about Gary Vee telling some sort of fucked up anecdote.
Oh, that thing. Okay,
Yeah.
I do remember this video now.
He's like, I want you to sit in the shower and imagine that your family's been kidnapped by Al Qaeda. And you're like, I'm trying to figure out how to sell art on the internet, Gary. What does that have to do with anything?
This is very chill music.
Yeah, it's chill beats to study and relax to.
I like how you have my words for there. It was very worried.
Yeah, hell yeah. This is a tier 1. Burkheads is like getting us with the real money. Thank you so much. So I've been getting like a pretty steady stream of requests from people asking me to just do my mainline work on stream instead of doing studies.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't
I
it?
think you're. Well, you have like so much imagination. Like your ideas are really good, so I could see why people would want to see that.
People are like, well, where do the ideas come from? How do you actually do the things that we followed you for? And I'm like, I don't know, I do it in private.
Well, but you cannot do it intuitively.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard. Like when people ask, like, what inspires you?
Yeah. Where do the
come
ideas come from?
And it's just.
You know what I should do? I should like come up with a fake story that sounds like semi-plausible, but the people who really know me know that I'm like putting it on. You have to imagine your whole family being eaten by lions. I want you to see the teeth tearing through your child's flesh.
The music is too loud for her
Oh
to hear
shit!
me.
Sorry, turn the music down. There you go. That's why I got the wheels of steel over here.
I'm too quiet.
So I was thinking about maybe I come up with a bullshit story that like the people who really know me know it's like a put on and they think it's funny every time it comes up. And the people who don't know me just like presume that I'm being genuine with them. Like I was thinking,
That's kind of mean.
but no, like I was thinking like what if I were to tell people that I believe that I have I'm communicating with an interdimensional traveler.
No, please don't do that.
And that like this traveler from the dimension of Quarton
Yeah,
gives
don't
me,
do that.
shows me what their homeworld looks like.
Because you know there's gonna be at least one person who catches on and then sends you like one of those long uncomfortable emails.
I get those long, comfortable emails anyway.
You still, yeah, that's true. I guess I just don't hear about them.
I get the
anymore.
weird DMs all the time. I got somebody the other day who's like, you should come join our group on Truth Social.
No.
We built a whole community for angels on Truth Social, and it's growing fast, and you should be a part of it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna auto archive that. Thank you.
Well, I mean more about ones who are like you.
Oh,
what
I
did
solved
you
them.
say?
I solved a murder because an
No.
angel showed me where the dead body
What
was.
your original idea that you get your inspiration from the being who's what?
Yeah, from Quarton.
Okay, so somebody would be like, oh yeah, I get like messages from there too, and like this is what.
Yeah, but I get that anyway. At least people would then know, like, I would want some people to be like, have you heard of this guy? He's like good at art, but he believes that there's an interdimensional being that's like talking to him about his own world. And like, at least then it's like the people who don't get it, like they would at least think it's novel, that maybe they'd be like, dude, this guy's so crazy.
Arcane says, what if it's an untapped demographic?
What if it's an untapped demographic of people who believe that they're being spoken to by interdimensional
No,
beings?
I think maybe it was related to Truth Social.
Oh, Truth Social? That like, yeah, I could be the biggest artist on Truth Social.
The biggest angel guy.
I'm the biggest artist on Quarton for sure.
And Quarton, for sure.
Yeah. They celebrate my art.
And this is how the cult start, yes.
This is how they all start, yeah. It doesn't take much.
You keep joking about this, and I'm thinking, like, no, this, because I can actually see it happening, and I would very much like to stay alive. So.
Yeah, you're like, I want my body in one piece. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Farton. More like Farton. Yeah, exactly. But like, I just got another. I just finished doing an interview for a magazine, and they're like, after I never make time for interviews. I hate them. They're like time consuming, and I never know if people actually read them. And like, I don't like these. They're asking me to basically answer the questions like, oh, where do you get your ideas from? But like in really long, elaborate, written down ways. So. And then immediately they came back to me and they're like, oh, by the way, uncomfortable question. One of our staff members says that your piece from like 2016 looks like AI, and we need to make sure it's not AI because we don't stand for AI. And I'm like, okay, first off, I would not only need to do AI, but I'd also need a time machine. Second off, you just said, hey, we think AI is shit, and we think your work looks like AI. And I'm just like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, immediately pissed at them. Like, if you're like anti-AI, like, I was like, you didn't do even the slightest bit of research to figure out whether or not this was AI, and then you insulted me. And they're like, no, we ran it through an AI detector. We asked an AI whether or not your stuff was AI, and it said it doesn't know.
Chuck Tingle.
This is what Chuck Tingle talks about, and it's the most wholesome thing if you read into him. I have no idea who Chuck Tingle is. Is he like somebody? Does he like talk about being inspired by interdimensional beings? This is like already a guy doing this. This is like, I don't think that I'm inventing this idea, but like, I'm sure some people that this is their whole personality. I mostly just want to be able to like make the art and have people go, man, I think your stuff's cool, and I'd be like, thanks, I'm glad you like it.
Please not Chuck Tingle.
Please not Chuck Tingle.
I have to see who that is now.
You have my phone over there. You want to Google Chuck Tingle?
I don't know.
What do you got? Chuck Tingle, writer. What the fuck are these images? This is right up my alley.
Oh, he's an extremely prolific porn author who gets his ideas from quantum timelines or something.
Oh, is a pseudonymous author, primarily a niche of gay erotica. The stories mainly take the form of monster erotica, featuring romantic and sexual encounters with dinosaurs, imaginary creatures, and there's a. It's like, this is really.
No, this one, this cover.
The cover.
This is a dinosaur and a horse.
From two-time Hugo Award nominee Chuck Tingle. This guy's getting nominated for Hugos. I made just.
These covers are amazing.
Yeah, this is really good. Oh, there is he like at a Comic-Con interview with a pink bag on his head? God damn, this is right up my alley. This is who I want to be. Except for the gay porn part. I don't usually. I'm mostly just posting the gay porn for memes. Yeah, this is good.
Mortimer says, like, I don't even know if the books are real. I've only seen the titles of them, and there are so many.
The physical manifestation of Wordle pounds my butt as a slightly frustrated but ultimately rewarding and meditative daily routine. It's a really good title. All right. Yeah. No, I mean, I wish I could pull that off. I don't think people really want my Chuck Tingle
impression.
No, they don't want my Chuck Tingle pivot. They really, really don't, right? But I think that if the right kind of people were to ask me where I get my inspiration from, they would get really fascinated by the idea that I believe that I'm like being spoken to by interdimensional beings. That's like the ideal answer of what they want. But even if it's not what they want, they're gonna remember it. That's gonna sear like a memory of my work in their mind in a way that I don't think I could fully pull off just by being good at art.
Somebody says I was away a few minutes and heard that few.
The title of that Chuck Tingle book, yeah, good shit.
That's a very good icon right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good emotes. If there's one thing that Twitch does, it's generate all-time classic emotes. The emote game on Twitch is unparalleled.
Oh, there is the Kickstarter thing.
Yeah. It's popping off.
Cycling.
Yeah, it's in there. If you guys want to back an Oracle deck to be able to see, like,
To communicate with
the oracles of Quarton are never wrong. And they've ensured that my Oracle deck is going to be the most accurate Oracle deck that's ever been created.
of all decks.
Yeah. I can say that most Oracle decks don't work. Mine works better than 99.9% of them. I can confidently say that with truth. Accuracy. It's also a very nice collection of my work. If you like my work and you want it in a nice little cool format, it's going to be in a good box. Unlike nice high quality cards. That's an excellent thing to buy.
They're very shiny.
Yeah. And if you want to communicate with beings from another dimension, it's also good for that. So, you know, it's a win-win. I'm just over here alienating my audience all day. Just watch me
People
slowly.
are gonna be regretting all those subs they just gave you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Ooh, can you sharpen this for me?
Says Peter, how do I deal with my anxiety in the face of
Dolly 3. Ignore it. It's not going to do anything. Don't worry about it. I find a lot of artists are like feeling like a kind of anxiety that makes them want to stop doing art when they think about the possibilities of AI. But the artists I know that actually work with AI, it tends to like push them towards just actually wanting to make more work like traditionally. So if you consider the fact that people who are working with AI are inspired to want to make more art by hand in traditional media, and the people who aren't using AI are like wanting to quit art, honestly, it sort of suggests that people, if you're scared about it, you should try it out and see that it's not something to be scared of.
It also feels better to make art.
Yeah, it's like not very satisfying to make AI images. Like, compared to drawing, it's just like it's not that satisfying.
the sharpeners and weird things, the pencils.
Also, the whole anxiety around AI seems to shift quite a bit, and I can't quite figure out exactly what is the thing, because like it was like, oh, they're stealing art from us specifically, and then it's like, well, you know, even the ones that aren't stealing art from me is still worry that it's potentially stealing from me in the future, or like DALL-E 3 is now like not accepting prompts that have any living artist in it, and people are now worried about that, and it's like, it seems like there's this existential dread that's coming up. But the stories about like the source of that dread and like the specifics of its manifestation, they shift like every single time the goalposts move on the AI stuff. And I don't know. It's like I've always suspected that it's not, the stories that are being told about it are not like the real narrative that's getting to people. Like what's underneath those anxieties, it doesn't feel like it's bubbling up to the surface, and I would like to get a better handle on it, and I don't want to presume what those feelings really are. I mean, it's the fear of being replaced, right? Like, I think broadly we can agree that that's like the general fear. But then, there's stories of like, well, actually the reason why it's a problem is because it's copyright infringement. And then if the copyright case fails, then it's like, well, if the courts prove it's not copyright infringement, then it's not the copyright that was really the problem in the first place. It's like, again, coming back to this idea that potentially you're being replaced, which I don't think you are. I mean, there are some jobs that I think are likely to be moved from being done manually to being done with AI, but I'm not convinced it's like a net negative overall for number of art jobs in the world. And I don't think that it's replacing the need for traditional artists in any capacity.
There's Arcane has a story.
I would say AI experience that affected me directly. I was in contact to do an album cover for one of my favorite bands, but after a month communicating back and forth and 20 hours put in, they decided to use an AI generated artwork instead. Shit.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, well, they're also, the thing is like, there was a moment where a lot of people were experimenting with AI, I mean, myself included, to see like, okay, well, is this useful for stuff, and is this like a good thing to like, add as part of our brand? Are we gonna make album covers and concept art and like illustration? Oh, thank you. And like, after people like played with it a lot, I think like that's been dying down a bit. I mean, they should have paid you for the work, and I think that they probably are going to look back on that choice and go like, oh, we fucked up.
Also, people don't look kindly at that. Like, I think they would alienate their audience doing this.
Yeah, I think there's actually a number of people that are likely to regret that choice. So it's an unfortunate experience for you, but I think it's unlikely one that it's like, I don't think that what's going to happen is they're going to go, wow, that was awesome, let's do that every time. I think they're probably going to go, let's never do that again.
Martimus says Riot Games tried making a cinematic with AI and the community ripped them apart for it.
Yeah.
Or did Disney one? What was it, The Secret Invasion?
Yeah, Secret Invasion, they had their intro sequence, which I actually thought there was some creative validity there because it was supposed to look fucked up. Like they wanted to make this like really fucked up alien looking thing. And, they were using like, was it Midjourney version 2, which is like super jacked up looking. And people were like, it looks jacked up. And I'm like, yeah, I think that was the creative intent.
So Arcane says, I did not, but they said they will make sure to get me free tickets when they come up to tour next month and hook me up with free merch. It's hard not to be bitter about it, but I don't want to burn that bridge. They mentioned possibility of future work, like an enamel pin release or poster t-shirt design.
Well, yeah, I would say definitely don't burn the bridge. Like as tempting as that as it is to like want to chew people out for being shitty. Like, I don't think that that's a sustainable strategy for people who like work in creative fields. I think the majority of like album covers that are being done with AI are being done by people like bands who don't have like any money to spare on art. There's a lot of like, I've gotten a lot of inquiries over the years from people who like want to use my art on their album, and their budget is like $50. So when I think about like the intersection of AI and album covers, I really think that the majority of the people that are going to be interacting with it are people who have no money. And I think that shaming them is a real problem because you're just basically shaming someone for being poor. I don't think that's very productive. Like all kinds of artists, musicians especially, like have to deal with so much shit that the idea that we're going to like lash out at them for being broke.
But it is hard to not be bitter in this situation.
Well, this situation is bullshit because they already hired you, you know? Like, and then you already put work into it and they pulled out. Like, that's bullshit.
So Arcane says that I also learned how to carry myself while engaging in commissioned work, something I'm new with. I usually only do personal work, but recently taking on some commissions. I now have a contract template and payment structure model, 50% upfront and the rest upon completion before artwork is delivered. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if this turns out to be an expensive learning lesson in like developing like a little bit of contract hygiene, it's a good thing.
This band has blown up over the last 2 years, and I feel like they can definitely afford some album art.
Yeah. No, that's the sort of thing I think that people are going to look back on and go like, damn, we fucked that up. Screwed up by like trying to follow along with this, because like if there's like a period of time where, you know, something like an AI cover would seem like novel. It wouldn't just be like a affordability thing. It would be like, hey, there's something really interesting happening here creatively, and we want to be able to participate in this hot new technology. But like that's not the current state of AI. The current state of AI is that largely people are very angry about it, and it's like it's showing it's showing its weakness in a lot of ways. I feel like a lot of the AI stuff that we see is like kind of getting repetitive in a way that makes it less appealing as an option.
I like making art so much that I cannot imagine why would I want something to make a picture for me instead. Like, I think the process of making it is why I do it in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely where I've come down on it.
And so I'm thinking, like, I don't know.
It's a very prompting is a very, very unsatisfying process.
I have never really done it, so I don't know. But I don't know. There's like magic happening on paper and on paint. Yeah. Oh, Kim says a big publisher recently took over 6 months to pay her.
Jesus.
Then the Aerochroma says, hey, how is it going?
It's going great, actually. You know, I thought, oh, this is going to be a total waste. I'm going to have to start over. I'm doing a shit job on this drawing live on stream, and now I'm pretty happy that I've gotten to spend a couple hours, like, fucking around with graphite, making this weird little spooky scene here.
And then Space Oddity says, funnily enough, the people in the best position to make use of the technology are artists themselves because they have the skill to tweak and edit what the AI produces.
Not only that, but there's like a lot of AI-related workflows that you basically have to be super fluent in art and like digital tools to be able to take advantage of. And, you know, that stuff would be fun to explore, but the like... the sort of naked desire for companies to try to replace creative people with automation has like driven artists away from participating in this kind of exploration and to like build these things and to make them like good and like have the rights for it be good and all that stuff. And so I feel like there's like a handful of bad actors that have really turned people away from the whole thing culturally, made it impossible to really engage with.
Yarrow Chroma says, I've been wanting to do more graphite or traditional work as well lately.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'd say that the more lo-fi your tools get, the better you are as a person. I would say that like I love digital art. I've been trying to put digital art tools in people's hands, but like I also tell people like, hey, if you're learning or if you like if you want to be creative, like you need to be comfortable with working with a pencil. Pencil is kind of the prime medium. It's the first place to start as a creative person, I think. And I think it's like, even having like used a lot of the best stuff in the world, I think pencil is still like one of the very strongest art tools ever made. And I recommend that people who like art should like mess with a pencil periodically.
So Age of Adam says, I have zero interest in using AI in any part of my process.
Sure.
And Kim says, I was excited to use AI for my process, but then used it for a while and just went, actually, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So, like, the reason why I thought using AI for part of my process would be sucky is because, like, part of the reason why I enjoy making art is because I never know how the picture is gonna end up.
Yeah.
And which is why I don't usually do process drawings either. Like, the color study and thumbnails, that's kind of rare for me. Because, like, once I get that in my head, I don't want to do the image anymore. I guess it could be kind of good for reference, but I like never really did that either.
I've done that. It can be pretty good for reference at times, like, but not in a really direct way, in more of like a mood boardy sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've liked some of the times where I've sort of inserted it in the middle of the process to be able to like add texture and like concepts sort of mid workflow. Like I've had some really good experiences like that flowering spirit piece. I thought turned out pretty good, and that was using AI combined with digital painting in a way that I was pretty happy with how the process felt overall. Felt really engaged with it, but I also felt like the AI added something. That's the sort of thing where I think like if artists were to embrace it, it could actually be kind of powerful. But the tools for it in that way are like, to make that kind of process are kind of like weak at the moment, in part because so much of the AI tools are like focused on text prompting, which I think is just a really, really weak way to make art.
Kim says she was using it for ideas and then realized that its ideas were bad.
Its ideas are generally bad. Like it's weird because like conceptually, it doesn't add a lot conceptually, and it doesn't have a lot structurally. The structure tends to be really weak. So it's like it's not good to make a drawing from.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like it's not good at finishing something that's already a work in progress. There's like this phase in the middle where it has like introducing new ideas in a space where you're kind of exploring, that I thought it was kind of good at times. But you have to insert an image into it. You have to be able to do like image input. So you could do it with SD, with Stable Diffusion. If you were like really... If you were doing it locally and you were to like have a lot of control over the model, like you could do it in a way that wasn't using other people's copyrights. You could use it in a way where you were having a high level of control over it, where there's a lot of intentionality. Like you could get past a lot of the points of criticism and have it be like a really artist-driven experience.
We have a lot of chat happening. Can you scroll up a little bit?
Oh, shit.
So Vestalin says, I find myself leaning towards traditional more since I have more desk time at work these days.
Hell yeah.
And says, good back working on fundamentals and ideating more in the sketchbook. Yeah.
People use AI for pitches and prototypes before pre-productions on a project now, like a lot. I could see that, because a lot of what people would do before is they would just steal a bunch of artwork from the internet and then be like, it's like all of this. And so my art would appear in those pitches all the time as like, this is what the project's going to look like. And then people were like, oh, they shouldn't use AI because AI is theft. It's like, no, before they were just stealing the art. Like, instead of making a machine that like mixed a lot of art together, it was like they would just use the whole art for free without credit or pay or anything. So like, it's like, it's not much different off than where it was, I think.
So Georg says, main AI art hassles I see are stuff like Etsy stores, items, shirts, generic prints, stickers, royalty-free images, passing as photos, which is a problem to me.
Yeah, I think they should be clearly marked. It's a real problem that like a lot of these platforms, they don't have the ability to differentiate between AI and non-AI generated content.
The thing that bothers me personally is that there is a lot of like nature-like photos where people actually think that things are real, and it drives me nuts. It's like, look at this wonderful thing that nature does. I'm just like, no, that's just AI.
Yeah, people are bad at like just being honest about crediting, but then people are also terrible at identifying AI. Like there's all this paranoia about it, but people have like absolutely no eye for it. And so it appears in all these places where it shouldn't.
So you get a compliment over there on the bottom.
Oh, a compliment.
And then we missed a message from Arcane.
Beautiful.
my last commission was a local brewery. They took 3 months to pay me. Makes me you feel like you're not going to get paid.
This was before I created a contract. Each experience has helped me better carry myself with commission work. I've been having people hit me up lately for commission work, but I've never advertised publicly. But I think you've been thinking about openly, publicly for the first time to help me get through winter.
Huh.
Sure. Personally, I've always struggled with commission work because, and I mean, as you've experienced, there's like a lot of like weird shortcomings to commission work where you have problems dealing with like, there's problems dealing with clients, there's problems getting paid, especially like...
Oh, Tim's leaving to eat.
Bye, Kim.
Bye.
It's like, oftentimes it feels like you are expected to go to extraordinary lengths for people who aren't going to go to extraordinary lengths for you. And that just always really bothers me. Like, I always want to be in a collaborative relationship with someone when I'm making a piece of art with them or for them. And so often commissions are really just designed to be like exploitative and not, it's not possible to get that level of like, you know, genuine collaboration because you're just expected to eat shit in a lot of cases. And like, you know, so I'm always looking for ways of like getting it that like don't require commissions, but I mean, there's only so many. So if like you have to do commissions, then you have to do them. But you know, whatever you can do to explore solutions outside of that, I think are best because it leaves you with time to be able to make the kind of art that's going to be really meaningful for you and it's going to be more impactful for your career in the long term. Commissions tend to be very difficult to get, like, to make in a way that is going to attract people to your work. Like if you do something for a brewery or whatever, like, you know, maybe it's going to be an iconic piece that's going to be a part of your portfolio for the next 10 years. But like more likely your personal work will be.
But wouldn't you want to have your art in a beer can? Because I would.
I had an option. I got a commission request once and I fumbled it.
No.
And like I was really busy. It was like during the time where I was working on the books.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've gotten like a commission that's like, I always say like, oh, I wish I could do something like this with this kind of company or whatever. And then it actually happens. I always end up screwing it up somehow by like being busy or not responsive or making demands that they can't meet. And that's just it.
Ken says the owner of the brewery had no experience with licensing. He thought if you paid hourly for artists to make you something that gives you automatic rights to self-produce the artwork.
I've had people tell me that they're like they've been in the art industry for 20 years and that they can tell you for sure that it's true, that that's really how it works. And like people really believe this shit. Like they really have no idea how it works. I mean, one of the community members in Huckleberry is actually an entertainment lawyer and can answer these kinds of questions. Like, so I know for a fact that you are right about that, and I agree with you. That's how it works, and I'm right about it too. But like, trying to convince some random dickhead that like they don't own your work just because they gave you $50 to draw like a thing is impossible. Like people get so stuck on their ideas about how art is or how it should work, and then the fact that you're an artist and this is your whole life is like not at all convincing to them. It's so frustrating.
Sorry, Esther says this is absolutely love.
Thank you, Zarya Star. I think embracing AI in art is part of the problem at the moment. I don't know. I think artists being in control of like powerful tools is like a good thing. The thing that scares me is like having corporations be like expanding their control over people's art and expanding control over the tools that artists use. There is like a push for that happening kind of with AI. That's where you see lawsuits, or not lawsuits, but like the strikes happening with like the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, that they're like trying to make sure that the writers and artists and actors hold on to their like likeness rights and the rights to their work in a sort of post-AI world. And like that's the stuff that really concerns me. I'm very happy that they made that a part of the strikes and that the writers were able to like have a major win on that front, because that's the part where the exploitation of the employers is where I think that artists have the potential to really lose out big. So as much as I'm sort of ethically neutral on AI, I think that like there's a real danger to it, and it's being kind of under-addressed because people are sort of holistically scared of it. So they're not like treating the real threat seriously.
I think you need to be drawing more often on camera. People seem to really like this.
People really like when I draw? That's good. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll do some more like digital from scratch stuff too. But yeah, if I drew on camera like 3 days a week, I'd probably get better at drawing. Be more fast and confident at it. And then I have more to tell people.
You got out of studies what you wanted to get yet?
Getting there. I don't know. More than doing studies on stream, I really like doing studies on like the weekends. Like when I like am bored, and instead of sitting on my phone, when I hop on Discord and I do an hour or 2 hour long study, I feel awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm learning. I feel like I'm growing. I feel like I'm interfacing with art in a way that's like healthy and productive. And it's like a better way of living than to like sit around and watch TV. I'm so happy that I started doing these, but like I am getting to the point where I want to experiment more with like what I do on stream, because it's like they're the easiest format for me to do on stream, but they're not. The ones I do on stream are not ultimately as valuable to me as the ones I'm doing off stream recently.
Yeah, but printing question.
Printing question.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Pete, have you do you have a playing card printer that you've enjoyed working with? I have worked with a couple that have done good work for me. There's a Chinese printer called Make Playing Cards that I'm not sure if it's a US company that like does the printing in China, or if it's a Chinese company with a US website that recently did some good work for me. But for larger orders, I've been using a company called Shuffled Ink.
What about the bicycle cards you did? What was the deal with those?
Bicycle cards. Oh, the ones from Albino Dragon?
Is that what they were from?
That company doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
The playing cards?
They were asking about playing cards, so I thought they meant like...
Yeah, but I mean, Shuffled Ink is where I would go if I was making my own custom playing card deck right now. Because they can do a nice full-color tuck box, shrink-wrapped, like fully professional with like really good quality cards, and you can get a 50. And then like I'm doing the collectible cards where they've got different backs, but they're really designed to do something that's more like a poker deck.
Okay.
I'm not sure, like people really like bicycle brand cards. You can get your own custom bicycle decks.
Because you did those for them, like once or...
What, bicycle, like
yeah,
playing cards?
You
Yeah, that was with Albino Dragon.
Okay.
That was a licensing deal, and that guy just like went back to working in IT.
So, Del Monsta says, "Damn, I was good at a good art flow, and my Apple Pencil battery died."
Hell, that's why that is like, I gotta tell you, I'm always hating on like drawing on iPad, and that is one of the things that drives me absolutely crazy about working with the iPad and the Apple Pencil, is that feeling of just being like, oh, I'm so ready to work, or like, oh my god, I'm on a roll, and then like the fucking battery dies. Like, are you kidding me?
Age of Adam is asking, Shuffled Ink is printed in the US, right?
Shuffled Ink is printed in the US. Yeah, they're based in Florida.
And then there is also a question, do you work with Elko still? Or at all?
I still like Elko a lot, but I haven't been making new prints. But there's oh, they gave me a link. They gave me a referral code link for Elko. I need to start sharing that around.
Well, all the prints that you get from them are wonderful.
Yeah, the prints I get from Elko have always been great, and the price that they give me for what the service they offer is awesome. It's more expensive than the kind of prints that most people make for conventions. Typically, they're laser prints. Elko does these silver halide prints that beat the shit out of laser prints, but they cost 4-5 times as much.
Mm.
Still enough to be able to put in a really healthy margin for an artist, though. I mean, you should be charging anywhere from $25 to $40 for a print like that. And so the difference between paying 80 cents and like $2.50 is like a lot, but it's not like, it's still viable to do if you're really, really picky about quality. I would say Elko is the best high quality US printer I've ever worked with, and they've always been a pleasure to work with. But I used to buy lots and lots of stuff from them when I was doing conventions. I would always restock from them. But then now, over the course of like the last couple of years where I've stopped doing conventions, you know, I've had a little chit chat with them here and there, but I haven't actually needed to order anything.
Hurricane says, I order from them regularly, recommended by you. I enjoy quality. I've been strictly going to them for the last 2 years.
Hell yeah. Well, tell Devin I said hi. Yeah, I had a referral code for prints, and I added it to like a sheet that was on the Vandal High website back when before we got the Huckleberry.art website set up. So I need to go dig up that referral code and make sure it's added to the Huckleberry website as like an official thing to recommend Elko. And like after years and years of recommending people to them and for no kickbacks, they like, we figured out a way to finally give you kickbacks. And I was like, great. Just
Hurricane says, hit me with that referral code.
yeah. DM me on Discord. I'll get it to you. I'm just trying to figure out how do I like circle back on this so in a way where I'm not going to drop the ball. You can DM me anywhere that you know that I'm at, Twitter, Instagram, or Discord or whatever. You can DM me and I'll send you the referral code. That goes for anybody who wants a referral code for the printer I used for all my convention prints. They're awesome.
Yaro Kurma is asking, what's Elko?
Elko's a printing company in New Jersey that was like, they're like my go-to for like a lot of my printing needs because they've got incredible customer service and great quality. And unbelievable prices for the kinds of like high quality printing services they offer. Most places offer the same usual like cheap options, and Elko offers like really high quality stuff, and I honestly don't know how they keep their prices down. They're great.
So Pestilence is taking notes as an intermediate artist, finally putting myself out in the world. And Age of Adams says, have you heard from anyone still doing cons? I'm curious what the rise of AI has done to print sales.
I do actually still talk to some people who do cons, and I got to tell you, it doesn't seem like AI is affecting print sales.
I thought a lot of AI people get kicked out of cons actually.
Well, that's the thing is like what it's ended up with is like some people whose art like is very noisy looking and like you know, very intuitive, like Pui or Key, not Key Klein.
Elko Color Labs, yes.
Elko Color Labs, yeah, that's right. There's some artists who get like falsely accused of making AI work, and then there's also AI artists who pop in and like just lie to people, and some of them get caught, but I'm pretty sure there's other ones that are slipping through because like people are sort of unscrupulous about it. But generally, like, you know, the buying audience doesn't want AI prints, and so it's like
connection with the artist also.
Yeah, it's like part of the reason I'm not scared about AI is because like it doesn't actually affect the marketplace at all for something like, you know, artist alleys and conventions. Like, other than like making people incorrectly mad at some very hardworking artists for no reason.
I think a lot of
like, I think the backlash of it is actually doing more harm than the technology itself when it comes to AI stuff.
I think a lot of people buying art at conventions, like part of the reason why they do it is because they want to have a conversation with the artist and they want the connection.
Yeah.
And so, like, nobody really wants a connection with a machine, I think.
No.
And like, I don't think people buy art just to hang pretty pictures in their house. Like, they do to some extent, but not.
Yeah, like people don't want to make their own art and decorate it themselves in their house. Like the idea that like people would go and like use Midjourney to like make a bunch of images they would decorate their house with instead of go buy it from artists, it's just simply not happening. So while there's some commercial purposes where like companies are experimenting with using AI instead of hiring artists, inside the consumer market, it's not affecting things at all. Like, it's totally still intact.
Murmur says, last thing I did with AI was get a real good impression of how a non-existent anatomical structure has been rendered and described by various people already. Implied strongly that the shape I had in mind hadn't been explored much yet. Filled in few blanks around the edges for me too. Super useful.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's places where I think it's potentially useful. It's just that like the thing, as somebody who's like taken a full-on run at trying to figure out how to use it, I think that a lot of the hype around it is a little bit overstated.
And then Vesseline says, I know a lot of people here near SCAD have been having issues with people selling AI art at their many fairs in the city here. Granted, it's just a case of them being dickish to artists there.
Yeah, there's a handful of people who are like, you know, instead of selling photographs of old boats, have decided to try to sell AI stuff. But I don't think like that's likely to like that's. I think that like if somebody's running an art fair, that they need to be like fluent in this stuff enough to be able to identify when something's AI. So if they say like, hey, we're not going to do AI art at this art fair, they can like clearly gatekeep it so that people there are all making their own stuff.
If you want to feel like the inside of your house is a mobile game,
Yeah.
and MJ wall art sounds fine. And then
Have you used Beyond Midjourney? The tools of Stable Diffusion are definitely useful. I have used some stuff for Stable Diffusion. Whoa!
Oh,
that's
yeah,
that.
it's Wednesday.
Oh my God! It's that warning thing.
Okay,
Holy
I'm gonna
shit!
take it to the other room.
Jesus! There's like no button to turn it off. It's all these news articles that they're gonna start doing this today. Joe
Your
Biden.
phone. I just threw it in the pool.
Yeah. The What was I gonna say? Fuck.
Silent hell siren.
Oh, Arcane Cluster says, I've broke my record sales 3 times the year live vending. I haven't done any cons yet, but doing music festivals and art fairs. Yeah, that's right. So, like, I know people were, like, really concerned. Like, is this going to, like, kill the way that artists make money? It's like, no, probably not. Like,
People are saying just get scared the shit out of me.
yeah.
When someone else says, how mine's still going off. Ours was pretty short. I took it to the other room.
This is the sort of thing where, I know that if I were to do this with the same level of intensity as my studies, that, like, 3 months from now, I would be looking back on this drawing and going, like, oh my God, I've gotten so much better.
But this is also, it looks fun. Are you having fun?
Oh,
It looks
yeah.
fun.
No, this is fun. I'm glad I did it. I know I was saying, like, today, the number one thing I felt coming into this was, like, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I'm already over time. Like,
Yeah.
Stream
you are
normally
over
goes
time.
to 2,
That's why I was wondering if you're gonna finish this on the stream today, because I won't be able to stick around.
I've got a couple of things that I want to do with this still, and then I'm going to call it. Like, it's supposed to be, I have all these roots and stuff, but I wanted to have the tree that kind of, like, emerges from the top more clearly defined.
Mm-hmm.
I like drawing a nice wiggly tree.
Yeah, me too. But then again, I like drawing trees in general. Curry Murmur says it's looking great.
Thank you very much.
I like the little toes.
Little toe beans.
Yes, cute.
Yeah, I think keeping the shading from getting too dark towards the bottom, I think is like probably the right choice for this. It's slowly kind of building it all up, but I'm not really good at building like a larger gradient when it comes to working with something like graphite. I wish I had like a little bit better handle on the tools so I could just like do a quick wash or something and pick away at the edges and make it all like fast and cool and impressionistic.
Macrodos is asking, how much experience do you have with traditional methods? What's your favorite?
I'd say limited amount of experience with just about every traditional medium other than pencil, where that's like been the start for most of my drawings. So I've gotten a decent amount of exposure to pencil over the years, and then after that it's like oils a bit, acrylic I've probably done the most work in. I've probably gotten the most finished looking pieces out of oil. I think the idea of the sort of like grass cape with the tombstones coming out of it, I think I've managed to sell it without having to draw the whole thing.
So Arcane says, I meant to say when Anya mentioned it earlier, but I definitely enjoyed the traditional sketch session. Feels very inviting and encouraging to draw at home. Should definitely try to get at least a couple in per week.
Well, I'm going to be doing it throughout the month of October for Drawtober. So the plan is that I'm going to be doing these sessions throughout the month of October. And then I'm also talking with a friend about doing gouache for his class. Justin Donaldson he's really great with gouache, and he's
So it's gonna be in January, or do you think you'll do it?
I need to
sooner?
figure out what the timing is going to be, but with that one, it's like he's got a class, and I'm gonna be taking the class, and I'm also gonna be promoting that people can come and take the class along with me, and so I'll be working on my gouache homework and stuff here on stream during that time, and I'm not sure if that's going to be, it's either going to be November or it's going to be January. Pretty Dreadful says, my opinion on AI is it's not going anywhere. As in, it's not going to leave. What kind of effect it have on art and artists is beyond my ability to predict, and it doesn't really matter. World changes outside of my control. Even my own life is not completely in my control. Whether it makes people stop doing art or encourages them to do it more is on an individual basis. I just started drawing for the first time after childhood and no expectations of making anything out of it. That's me, that's my own personal reasons. I mean, largely agree. I think I hope that AI encourages more people to make art. I've met a lot of people who got into art because they were super curious about AI, and then they got frustrated with the lack of intention that it brought. And that made them want to like try to mess around with Photoshop and try to mess around with pencils and stuff. And I'm hoping that the proliferation of consumer AI gets people more interested in making art the old-fashioned way.
So Eurochroma says Aljonen Drawtober. So I'm just gonna mention that for this prompt, I think you have today and tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to turn it in by tomorrow to get it to count.
And there, I think there is some awards happening. Also, there's
there's daily there's daily prizes. Yeah, they're sending out pins to people and stuff.
You can get a tablet, but I think for that one you need to post in the.
You need to post in their Discord.
Yeah. Yes. So just look into the account. Arcane Cluster says, I think I remember him from One Fantastic Week Miyazaki style environments.
That's
Justin.
right.
Yes.
Yes, that's Justin. He's really great.
Then Pretty Dreadful says, everyone got their own. If they enjoy making images with AI, okay. If they want to paint traditionally, okay. If they want to do digital stuff, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, when the thing that really worries me is what happens when people who want to exploit copyrights and exploit artists' work figure out a way of automating it and cutting artists out of the process. When it comes to individual people wanting to make something for themselves, I'm not worried about how people make art in their own lives. I don't think that that's something we should be concerned about. And
Can you give a link to Eurochroma about where to find prompts? I guess it's Drawtober on Instagram.
Look up Drawtober on Instagram or on Twitter.
And Discord.
And they've got links to their Discord from there, and they've got all the prompts on there and all the rules and everything all written out. It's all requires a little bit more specificity than what I can sort of rattle off on stream here. But I think I managed to sort of sell the idea of the guy that I'm trying to make here.
I wish that little skeleton dude in the middle was more visible.
Yeah, you think I should try to pick him out a little bit with the eraser?
Or maybe darken the area around him or something?
I'm just trying to darken the area around him, but I wonder if I can pull him out a little bit.
Carrie Murmur says, I'm not worried about people, I'm worried about Adobe. Yeah, I
yeah,
guess that's the
exactly.
things.
No, 100%. Adobe's one of the corporations that I think has the potential to really try to exploit artists in a way that would be really harmful. It's companies like Adobe and Microsoft and Disney, NetEase that I really get concerned about. And companies individual users using Midjourney doesn't freak me out as much. I mean, a lot of this technology is open source, so it's even if you were to sue Midjourney and Stable Diffusion out of business, the diffusion models they're just a technology that exists in the world now. So.
So it's the first time chat person saying hi.
Hey, Art of DHTT. And like honestly, it's not gonna. Regardless of what happens, it's not gonna make me wanna stop drawing and painting.
Adobe is about to charge for AI tokens. What?
Good luck, buddy. AI's full of great ideas. I mean, Adobe's full of great ideas, aren't they?
I feel like, people are just like most of the time I hear about Adobe recently is people trying to figure out how to get out of it, and they go with a different company.
Yeah, as their competitors, even like the free product, the free alternatives like Krita get like better and better. Adobe is trying to get like more and more exploitative and like move further and further away from their core mission and screw over their core audience. And I'm just like, guys, this is totally the wrong way to do it.
Starting in November, I think. Huh.
I tried using their AI thing for free. I wouldn't even use it for free. It's total garbage.
I feel not many people know about this right now, says Georg.
I mean, maybe. I mean, if they like try to use it and like Adobe's like, well, that'll be $5, they'll be like, I'm gonna uninstall this. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, Dustin's back. He's just laying down helped a bit.
That's good.
Yeah.
Stares at Clip Studio. Yeah, exactly. Clip Studio is pretty good. Krita is pretty good. Affinity Photo is like actually I think better than Photoshop at photo manipulation. Like a lot of the photo stuff that like Photoshop originally was made for, Affinity Photo is like a better version of it, and it's a single time payment of like $100. Though their painting tools have a couple of quirks that prevent me from wanting to use it more widely. So I would love to work with Affinity Photo on helping to like make their painting, consult with them to help make their painting tools better if they ever want to reach out. But I don't think that's where their head's at the moment. They only need to do a couple of tweaks and it would be pretty useful. DMCA 2.0 will make it only licensable legal option. Yeah, maybe. Like, the thing I'm worried about is that like the laws that are being written for AI are being made by the corporations that are likely to benefit from it. And so the push for legislation for me feels like a push towards like companies like Adobe taking over. That's the part where I get really nervous about it.
And then Pestilence says, I need something to replace Adobe Illustrator. Would love to work with vectors more effectively, but Illustrator on Adobe is just jank.
The Affinity has an Illustrator competitor as well. I can't speak to it specifically, but I would definitely look up Affinity's Illustrator competitor and see if it's any good. Yeah, once I get this little skeleton guy here in the front,
I'm gonna call it quits for today.
I'm gonna call it done.
I feel like I made kind of like a rough drawing of what I want to make, but it's not done.
It's not done. Do you want to show it on stream?
I don't know. Like if you wanna, there, it's like nothing. It's kind of like an idea more so than an actual drawing. Like
Sure.
like an idea for a drawing.
Uh-huh.
I think I like some of the thumbnails better than this.
Well, you can show both the thumbnails and the drawing too. Okay. That's my drawing for today. I'm gonna take a look at this tomorrow and see if I want to touch it up before I like submit it for Drawtober. But I think that's it for today. I should sign it just in case I never come back to it. We'll see what my signature looks like. And then like a nice handprint on here as well. Oh.
A nice smudge.
Nice little smudgy smudge. I can clean up some of these smudges and maybe like it'll help cut it off the background a bit. We need to find somebody to raid. Anyone got any raid suggestions? Dustin does it for me so much I honestly don't even know where to start looking to figure out who to raid.
I'm still enjoying the art of Mega Elod that Dustin found once. It's one of my favorite things on Instagram. Here, if you wanna
There's Anya's drawing. So she's got her thumbnails here. And then this is the
kind
drawing.
of a bigger thumbnail because this is.
So yeah, big loose sketch. Just having a peek. Welcome, Purple Borb. We're about to clear out. Thanks everyone who came by today, watching me draw. You guys, this is I think the first time I've ever demonstrated my traditional drawing process. If you can call this a process, this is more of a traditional drawing. Chill out session. Oh, I'm just getting more smudges. I'm like totally dirty.
Maybe next time you can take my little piece of paper suggestion.
I know, but like, what if I like being a dirty boy?
I don't know.
Oh, Melon Cecily. All right. Okay. All right. Let me get this raid set up. Go back to, main view here. There we go. So I can pack up my stuff here a little bit. I need to get access to my keyboard. I'm going to try and close the
This
sketchbook.
proves one and for all that you are not using AI.
Yeah, it's just like the images where people have like told me that I'm using AI when I'm not. They're either like stuff where I've like shown a video of me painting it, or like was painted before AI was invented, and I'm just like, it's like the people who are on a crusade to try to like find the AI artists and kill them. They're so frustrating. Here, let me get this out of the way. Ooh, the light. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm pencil gang for life. I'm gonna be using a pencil for the rest of my art career. And I'll probably be painting in Photoshop for the rest of my art career as well too. Thanks for who joined me, and thanks for like all the subs today. This was really great. Fun session. All right, ready to raid. See you guys around. Goodbye.